Okay, good afternoon, gentlemen. Hope everyone is well. Enjoyed a nice week off. Did a little bit of trading, just a little bit, on a sim, but just a little bit. But had a nice break actually. So I hope everyone is well. So let me have a little look. Okay, Indy, how you doing, pal? How you doing? What? Speedy, how you doing? So I hope everyone's had a good weekend. You'll notice I've got a few new things on my chart here today. I'll tell you about them in a bit. Just a new indicator I've been given just to have a play around with, see how I get on with it. So NC, how you doing? Chris, how you doing? Rodian, how are you, mate? Good to have you back. Thank you. Nice to be back. So, as most of you know, I've moved over slightly to more penguin style of trading. Purely because it gives you a little bit more time to think. Now, at the moment, I'm looking at this. So I would say, I'm a bit on the fence here, but the penguin will probably say we got a leg down, we had a break, we made 2 attempts to go higher, failure, and we pull back down. So if we can get a strong push below there, that's a possibility. But obviously, we're in a bit of a range here at the moment, so I'm a bit unsure about that. So if I'm not sure, because I'm now, if I see a Mac trade, an absolute sitter, I'd be stupid not to take it. I mean, if we get a leg down here and we have an absolutely perfect something like that in a downtrend, perfect second entry short, then I'm still going to take it. I'll be daft not to, really. If this is about learning some new skills, not necessarily replacing them. But the thing I like about this is you do have a little bit more time to think about. Now, if we waited for perfect second entry shorts every time, we'd be here forever and a day, because they're not as as rich as they were. But if I do see one, I'd be daft not to take one, really. But I will show you an email I had about 4 or 5 days ago from a guy. So just out of curiosity, so it's just quite an interesting email. So I'll show you that in a bit. So where are we now? Market is due opening in a fraction over 2 minutes. So we seem to have a bit of a bearish bias at the moment. Whether it'll continue or not, I don't know. It's a little bit uncertain at the moment. But we sort of market opened here. We pushed up. We bounced off this top line a little bit, and then we had a strong push down. And now we're doing some more sideways. So, so I'm a little bit on the fence to what to do here. And if that's the case, I'm just going to sit here. So what I will say, this, let me find out. I can't remember what it's called. It's a new indicator. Let me have a look. It's called AlgoTick. So there's a bunch of things you can do on it. I've only really just scratched the surface at the moment, but I'm going to give it a go. And if it's any good, then I will. I'll advertise it, and we'll see how we get on. But what it basically does is there's a few different things it does. Now, what I like is it plots the high of the day, it plots the low of the day, and it also plots the current opening. So that's one thing. It tells you what it is. Obviously, we're on the ES and what the contract is. It tells you exactly where we are at the moment, and that is the tick counter as well, which is the same as that basically. If you guys haven't got that, you may have one down the bottom, but it shows the tick counter. So that's one thing it does. Also, if I press my running wheel at the middle, it also does that as well. It gives you that down the bottom. As you can see, it tells you the date, the exact time, so you can find out exact time a bar was. So whether you'd have any use of that, I don't know. And also, let me have a look. How do I get off it? I've got to press that wheel again. Okay, see these bars here? These numbers here. If I hover over a bar, it gives me information about the bar, like that one, for instance. 5.75 points, blah, blah, blah. As I say, I'm still getting used to it. I have removed something, which I just found a little bit fiddly, but I'm going to have a play around with it. So I'm going to have a play around with it, and then my bars look different. Okay, let me just reload my... Okay, market is officially open. Let me just reload my historic. Okay, so that is a trade I may have taken. My only slight concern is we've got some resistance here, so I may not have taken it actually. So we got this leg down. We had 2 attempts to go higher, failure, pull back down, but we are going sideways, so that's a trade I'm leaving at the moment. Okay, so hopefully, Kev, your bars will look a little bit more like mine now, mate. Holy Earth, that's a new name I haven't seen. Good morning, lads. Hope you had a great weekend. Nikros, I have, mate. Yeah, thanks very much. Hope all you guys have as well. So, now, is there a channel down here? It's possible. In fact, I had it there, so I'm not sure about that. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Probably not, actually. Groll Daddy, how you doing, bud? How you doing? So, oh, that's a thought. I haven't got my... Let's have a look. I have been putting the Discord above my head as well for the Penguin Discord. So at the moment we're just going. So it seems a bit rangy, to be honest with you. So, but yeah, it's called. What do I say? I'll talk about it a little bit more as I play around with it. Algotech. So, so let me have a look. In fact, I'm just going to remove that for a minute because it's clouding my vision a little bit. Okay, so we got this channel. Yes. Hey, Sam, how you doing, pal? How you doing? Hope you're well, mate. And I don't know what the weather is with you, but it's certainly turned now, mate. Autumn's well and truly on its way. We had that bit of a heat wave, didn't we? And it's just gone crazy. So there is a second entry long off there. So if I'm looking more at Penguin now, there's nothing here for me. I don't think we've had that leg down. We've had a break. You may even say that's an overshoot. It's hard to say. So we're going sideways a bit. So I'm just going to sit tight. Now, when I started this Penguins the other day, I started, I just did, it was a downtrend. It was a lot easier to read with a downtrend. So I have done I've taken 3 trades and they've all been successful. I think I did 2 trades. Was it Friday or Thursday or Friday? I just did them on a sim and got about 8.25 points, and I think I got about 6 points on the Thursday, but I just did a couple of hours. But the thing I like about the Penguin style is it's a slightly bigger scale. So whereas we might go first entry, second entry, it'll be more of a first entry. It'll be more on a bigger scale. So in my opinion, you have a little bit more time just to sort of plan a trade. And in a lot of cases, he'll wait, instead of taking a trade there, he'll wait for it to push through the EMA and take it maybe here. Good, thanks. Miserable weather, yeah. Scotland's known for it, really, isn't it? Mind you, get a multitude of weather, don't you? You can ski in the afternoon, can't you? And sunbathe in the morning. So leg up, sideways, leg up. So, have a look. So it's a bit trial and error, but as I say, I am going more on the Penguin style. Not because I don't think Max is a good system. I just think because I'm quite a wired person. I'm not a very, calm, calculated person. I'm quite wired, and with Max, sometimes you just do not have a lot of time to think. Things happen really quickly. And you just don't have time to think. And sometimes that little bit extra time to think, I think, will help me. So we'll see how we get on anyway. Okay, at the moment, we're just going sideways. There's nothing that really interests me. I mean, we had a channel down there. May have been a bit of an overshoot. I don't know. Possible. Maybe not. There's a bounce up here, a couple of legs up, a little bit of sideways and a break out the top. So yeah, I kind of like the fact, even just the fact that it does this, it shows me where the current high is, where the current low is, and obviously where the market officially opened. There are a bunch of other things it can do, which I'm just getting used to, so I'm just slowing it down at the moment. But so possible channel there, touch. Sort of. Yeah, maybe a channel there. We'll see. See what happens here. Up a little bit of sideways, and the trouble is sometimes when you get into these, and when you realise we're in a channel, you miss a really nice trade. Maybe that one or that one, as it pushes up. So let me have a look. Let's see where this ends here. Indeed, it's supposed to be someplace warm side. Okay, so possibly as a channel up here. Depends what you look at this. Touch there. It's close enough there. Close enough. Touch there. A couple of times on the top. So it seems to be working okay. But overall, at the moment, we seem to be just going sideways, really, until we can sort of get above here or below here. Yeah, I got to say, I traded that penguin style, and I found it more straightforward on a trend when the market's trending. So this is a different experience for me trading it. I have been watching him obviously on and off for maybe a few months and trying to figure out, you know, what makes him tick. Let's have a look. Post a link if you're streaming and we'll join. Okay. How do I get a link? Looks like a couple of legs. That trouble is, if it is a channel, which I think it is, it's right in the middle, and I'm not a massive fan of them. So many times they'll trigger and get trapped, but it does look like a couple of legs. But that's not interested me. That is, I'd say it's more likely going to get stopped out there. Well, it does look like a couple of legs, but that doesn't interest me. Market's moving quite swiftly, actually. So we've had a leg up, we've had a break, a new high. It's actually, when you, because I'm looking for more penguin style trades now. The only thing I'm noticing is max stuff. Obviously I hadn't. In fact, what I could have done is there's a leg back and a leg back there, and there's a trade there. I think it's a second entry long anyway, and really I didn't notice. Actually, I should have done. That then confirms this line, and then when it does, off it trots. But yeah, I definitely feel it's easy to trade penguin style when the market's trending. That's how you're doing. So yeah, so it's trial and error really anyway, isn't it? I have, because penguin trades generally tend to go for more points and usually a little bit more risk. So instead of taking that bar in, might wait for it to push through there. So the risk's a little bit more. So I have dropped down to one contract. So if the risk's a bit more, that by dropping, reducing it from 2 to 1 contracts, that should balance things out a little bit. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here at the moment. So we've had a push up. Maybe we'll attempt to go lower. Push up, another attempt to go lower might be nice. Market is moving quite fluidly, isn't it? It's in fact, it was doing this a bit ago. I actually looked just to check I had my my news indicator on here, because it seemed to be really flipping. But okay, so we've had a channel up in, we've had a break of our channel, so it's definitely a channel. I'm happy with that. Touch, touch, touch. It visually looks okay. It's touching a couple of times on the top, so this is a break. So that looks to me like a couple of legs down, somewhere around about there. See if we can get a push up and another attempt to go lower before we fail and push up, if that's a possibility. Okay, so we've hit that measured move. Let's see what goes on now. No, I'm not on PA, bud. I've had this evaluation for a week and a half, so I'm just trading this evaluation. Okay, so leg and a leg. That looks like a couple of legs down. So see if we can push up and then maybe get another attempt to go lower before it fails, hopefully, and pushes up. So yeah, I traded Friday on a demo for a bit, and I took 2 trades, and fortunately, both trades the Penguin guy took, so that was encouraging. So that always helps. So we got a leg down, push up and leg down. Nice. Did you buy a course from Pay? He doesn't do a course, mate. I think he charges, what did I pay? I think it was $29, $29.99. It's about 24 quid, I think, UK money. And for that, you get access to his videos on his website, and you get access to the forum as well. I like it, I think, mainly because it gives you a little bit more time to take a trade. So we've had this sort of push up, and we've made a couple of attempts to go higher. See, I would guess if you were going to take that max, you would take it there. Penguin, you would take it maybe above here. Give it time to push through the MA, so it's giving that impression then that we're going higher. Because so many times I've taken a trade there, it's triggered me and stopped me out. By giving it that little bit of extra time to push higher, you rule out that 1 or 2 ticks and then reverse. You see what I mean? And I kind of like that. There's a higher low there, but at the moment I'd like to make another attempt to go lower before we push up and make a new high, or maybe clip for these tops here. Okay, so another attempt to go lower. Let's see what goes on here. I'm seeing first part of a larger second, about here and here. Yeah, that's possible. Hey, Lance, you got this. Thank you, Claire. I appreciate that. Thank you. Leg, possibly a leg, possibly a leg and a leg. Yeah, I'm a bit on the fence to know what to do here. You know, sometimes, as you know, as I said, markets can be really predictable, really easy and really predictable, and other times they're just bouncing all different directions, and you don't know what the hell's going on. So we got this leg down. We made one attempt to go higher. So I don't know. I'm a bit on the fence here. If you don't know, don't try. Absolutely. Have we spoken before, Clay? Have we? Your name rings a bell. Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes the market is really easy and predictable. You know, we get a really nice leg up, a perfect two-legged correction, and then another leg up, perfect measured move. And sometimes they're really predictable, and other times it just bounces in all different directions, and where you expect it to go, it just doesn't. I'm in the... okay. Gotcha. That's where I've seen you. I got you. That's where I've seen you. Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, it'd be nice for some of you guys as well. At least you get a bit of sort of verbal company, don't you? And as I'm sort of trading more penguin style now, maybe you guys can help. Well, you guys are more experienced at it than me. So having said that, if I see a channel up there and with a perfect second entry long, above the EMA, an absolute sitter, you know, the real gold dust types, I am still going to take it. I'd be daft not to, because obviously I've picked up some skills, but unfortunately we don't seem to get a great deal of trades like that, really, you know, where we get a sort of a channel up and then we, you know, sort of we go that type of thing. And then off we go, that type of thing. I'm not the best drawer, but you know, I mean, that type of thing. Yeah, we're on a nice channel there. We get one leg back, two legs back, real beautiful bar there. I'd be stupid not to take it. In all fairness, we don't see a lot of those anymore. Whether it's the current climate or not, I don't know. Okay, so we've got a leg down here, made one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. But obviously we've got this resistance down here, and you may expect it to push up and break the highs after this channel. So I am long from here. I'm long from here on out. Hey Sam, how you doing? Hey Robin, how are you? Love the PT Start X. Good on you, mate. I am long here on out. Not sure that bit. You might have just misspelled. I don't know. You're long here anyway. Okay, so yeah. Trouble is, the EMA is facing down at the moment. We are still making lower lows. Good community on the page. Yeah, it is actually. I had a chat with a bunch of them on Friday, and I posted some of my trades just to get a bit of just to get some feedback. But as I say, and I have said this a lot of the times, and I probably rabbit on about it, you do have a little bit more time to think with his trades, because if we had a leg up here and two attempts to go lower, he wouldn't necessarily take that. He might do. I might have read it wrong, but he would usually wait for it to push above that EMA and close. That will give us the indication we're going up, because so many times if you take a trade like that and you've made a mistake, it'll tick above you, one or two ticks, and then reverse. But by giving it that little bit of time to push higher and maybe close above the EMA, you rule out that chance, and I kind of like that. So yeah, it's a bit. There is obviously some resistance down here, so I'm a bit. There's nothing you can do in my opinion. Gets rid of the edge. Yeah, it does. Now, granted, the risks are a bit more, but I don't mind that so much, because I'll just go down from 2 to 1 contracts. So whereas we might take a 2.5, 3 point, generally they may double it. 3 to maybe 5, 6 points, which is usually double. So if you bring your contracts down, then that tends to average that out a little bit. But yeah, the trouble is with Max, some of Max trades happen that quick. And what I found, because I am a wired person, sometimes I tend to jump before I think. And when I first started to learn to trade, I remember Andrew Lockwood told me that everybody is better suited to a certain style of trading, and you generally fall into your category, you know, as your sort of career moves on a bit. And I'm just wondering whether Max sometimes is a little bit too, you know, quick for me. So, okay, we got this channel down there. 2 attempts to go higher. So maybe we're going to come down here. Trouble is we have got all that resistance there. So if you wait for that to push below there, you're barely going to get 1-to-1 out. So is it going to go higher? Possibly. I'm not sure about this at the moment because it depends what you feel about that channel. For me, it visually looks okay, I think. We've had a break out of it. 2 legs down, and we've bounced off this line quite a few times. But for me, in fact, that might make a trade. We've had in fact...
Order filled.
Yeah. I like that. We've had this channel down. We've made 2 attempts to go low. It's pushed up strongly through the EMA, so I like that. A little bit more risk than I wanted. 18 ticks, not massive. Okay. 18 ticks. That's not massive for a penguin trade. Let's get this right. 18 ticks. Okay, that's okay. So channel up here, 2 measured legs. We've twice more to bounce, and now we've pushed up. Now we could get up here or we could get up here, but I think where we are is okay. Now actually I thought I brought it down to 1 contract. I've actually still got it on 2, but there we go. So I'm just going to sit on it. So let's say that one. But it pushed up, probably a couple of ticks more than I wanted, but I'm all right with that. Plenty of space there. Plenty of space up here. So we're in and we'll see how we get on. But I kind of like it. We've had the channel, we've had a break of it. You'd expect a new high. As we've had a break, we've bounced 1, 2, 3 times, pushed strongly above the EMA. I think that's okay. Let's hope this is just a bit of a pullback because it is bouncing on that midline. But I'm hoping there's going to be a few shorts trapped there. So if that pushes above there, then I think then we're likely to hit that line. So the risk is 18 ticks. 4, 8, 16, 4.5 points. Which, yeah, I said it's about double, which is about right. 4.5 points. That would equate to 2.2. At least with your stop down here, you could afford to let it come back, bounce off the EMA again, and then maybe make a second leg up here. So that looks like it might do that, hopefully. So let's put that like that. That would get us somewhere up here to these highs, depending on where it bounced. Okay, I'm all right with that. Still above the EMA so far. Fingers crossed. Leg up, back to the EMA. Maybe as we get another leg up. Channel. That's okay, that is. I kind of like that channel. That's a good indicator to me. Channel break. There's highs up here to get to. There's highs up here. I think it's ranging. I'm not a fan of that, but there we go. So I'm just going to take that. No, I'm going to leave it there. I was going to take it down 2 ticks, but I don't think that's going to make a difference. Oh, I thought I was golden there for a minute. What was I? A couple of points away, 1.5 away. 0.5 away. Uh-oh, leg down, leg down. Leg down, couple of attempts to go higher. I might have got this wrong way around here. Okay. What EMA are you using? 21-day EMA. 21-day exponential moving average. No, don't come this way. Push up. Leg down, leg down. I think I'm going to get stopped here. Okay, so I think, let me have a look. Yeah, it is a bit choppy, isn't it? We got a leg down. Yeah, there's no point in adjusting it a tick or two. We've got this low down here. There's a long way it can go, really. We had this nice channel up here. I thought that great. Even if we get a break, we've still got plenty of space here to play with. If my stop's down here to push higher. If that finish is bullish, that'll be a good sign. Okay, that's better. That's better. I suppose if it does seem to go sideways here, you have got the option to get out of it. But with that bar, then I think I'm all right at the moment. Leg up, leg up. Let me have a look. Where's that going to get us to? Close. Yeah, if it does go sideways, you can always try and get out of it if you want. You're worried, fella. Benji said he's worried for Lance. My heart is pounding. Just looking on the Discord, Benji said, I'm worried for Lance. My heart is pounding for no reason. I'm not even in the trade. If that comes bearish, then I think we might. I think we'll be okay. We may. We'll see. I think it's 50-50 now where it goes. We've got a leg up and a break. We may go up again. Or we've got a leg down and a break. We may come down. But I'm feeling the same way. To be honest with you, because it's a new system, I'm quite relaxed about it. I just got to go with it. I see me trade and that. But we had this channel up here and we had 2 legs of correction and we bounced twice more and pushed up strongly through the EMA. Now, even if I'd have taken my trade 1 tick above there, I'd have still been a few ticks shy anyway. So I'm not bothered whether it works or not. It's all about learning, isn't it? If that finishes a higher low positive up here, then I'd say we're good, we're golden. If it finishes down here, we're not. It's a good trade. They don't always pay out. Yeah. If that finishes above that bar, then I'm quite confident then. And then that's a second entry long there. Once it broke below that bar, second entry long. I'm hoping it stays quite bullish. If it does, then I think we'll get that other leg up. See, at any point, you can get out of this trade because you've got such a lot to play with, and because I had that good push initially, you know, I have got a scope for get out. I mean, it's what is it? It's a 4.5 point risk. Now, I could get out at 2 points if I think it's really looking like it's coming down. But if you trade it on one contract, it only works out as a 2.2 point risk, really, if you think about it like that. So it was looking positive 1 minute, and now it's looking not positive, but there we go. I think we may get a leg and a leg. It all depends a lot on how this bar finishes, I think. Relatively positive, but that needs to climb. Go on, push up above here, nice and strong, and then I think we'll get another leg there. So we're going to leg break. It is a second entry long, but it's looking, it needs to get above here. I mean, I could get out of it if I wanted to, but I think we're okay. We've had 3 strong bounces off this bottom, so I'd at least like it to get up to here. Go on, another tick. There we go. That's what I wanted. push, come on. You took the same one, but only for 6 ticks. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, I could get out of it now if I wanted to. I'll see what happens after this bar. If this bar finishes quite positive, then I may get out of it. Okay. I'm going to get out of this. No, I'm going to leave it. Let's leave it. Let's leave it. Because I was hoping it might trap that one. We're getting a bit of another channel up here, so I think it's okay. Sometimes you just got to give it a bit of space. In fact, you've got to give it space, otherwise you're never really going to learn. It's just reacting to that midline again. Yeah, I think it's okay. See how this one finishes. I could get out of it if I wanted to. It does look like there's a little channel working there, which is a good sign. Yeah. That's okay, I think. Yeah, where are we likely to go for ranging? Certainly here, I would expect. These are the highs of the day. Maybe certainly here, which should get us out comfortably. So far, we're still working slowly. We need to get above here. Yes, if I jump out now, I could do fine, but the idea is to stay in the trade unless it's going sideways and congested, and it's not really. I need to get above here. If we get above here, then I'm confident then. But it just seems to be a bit struggling now. Let me see how that one finishes. I could drop it in here really, couldn't I? And then just see, but I think the best thing to do is just to let it play. Once we get above these highs here, then okay. I think we're okay now. We're still working. Green, red, green, red, green, red, but still up. So if we've had a green one, I don't mind a bit of red. If we can get above here, yeah, I mean, I could put it at break even, couldn't I? Channel up, break. I don't like the way it's clipping there. See how this finishes. Come on, get up strong. Okay, that's quite a good sign. Yeah, first live trade for me. Okay, so luck. Second entry short there. Triggered. Trapped. Let's have a look. If this comes down and takes this out, I'm buggered. It's trying to push down, isn't it? My concern is we start doing this on that midline. Everyone buy the mark. most of us are on Sims anyway, aren't they? And even if we're on PA accounts, they're only Sims anyway, so it's not going to make the slightest bit of difference, is it? At least you have got the, you can get out of it if you want. Yeah, what's concerning me is we're hitting this level here. There's a lower high there. If that gets stopped out, I think I'm buggered. Oh dear. I thought the way that was going up, we were golden there. Clearly not now. Yeah, it does seem like it's hitting that, doesn't it? Oh, hello. That's looking promising. Go on, get up there. Why is it moving so quick? It's not working its normal self, is it? It's a bit unusual that for just, where does it seem like there's a strong move there? I nearly got out there as well. I'm quite glad. Sometimes you're best off just to stay in it and leave alone. Trouble is it's struggling there again, isn't it? If we can get above there, I think I'm golden. Yeah, somebody's just bought. Whoever it is, thanks. 1, 2, 3. Is that a triple test? What do I do? Well, that's looking positive. Go on, push above there. Go on. Go on, get up, get up, get up. Get up, get up, get up. If we can get above there, I think we're golden. There we go. Now we should comfortably hit my spot, I think, now. Now this is a triple test. Now, I think we're going to do all right here. I'll be daft not to drop my order in here, actually. At least at break even. Let's leave it where it is. I'm just worried about 1, 2, a triple test. Yeah. No, that's concerning me, that is. It's going sideways now, see, so what I'm going to do is at least drop it in there. If it comes down there, it's going sideways, and I think we're in this range then. If it pushes out okay, then I think we've got, let's just leave the bloody thing. I'm never going to learn anyway. I don't know how many times I've come out of a trade early and it ends up doing exactly what it was supposed to. So sometimes when they come back like that, they just come back and spook you, and then you leave it, don't they? But normally I'd have where did I get in? Here, I'd have got in a few ticks before there, so surely it's going to hit my thing anyway. We're above here now, so 2 ticks, come on. 2 ticks. You're a tick away, for God's sake. Come on. That should...
Target
there
filled.
We go. Flipping hell. Finally. Okay, so, yeah, sometimes you just got to sit and wait. When it came back there, I very nearly got out, but it just goes to show... See, the thing about that is... Let me just analyse this, okay? We've come from these tops, we come down the bottom, we bounced, and we're working in this channel. So we've had a break out of it in the way of a really nice measured move. And we've made 1, 2 more attempts to go lower. And usually when that happens, it fails. Now, I didn't take it here or here because what I can see is we're moving down. I took it after that nice strong bar. In fact, I took it after it started to push. So it did what it was supposed to do. So sometimes you just got to trust the process. But what surprised me was when it just had a quick surge. But I don't know, did it come back and take out that stop? You don't know. If a lot of people bought here, see, sometimes as it's coming back, they may sort of increase. I don't know. I don't know these. But it came below. I thought if it held above there. But anyway, it did what it was supposed to. So that's 4 trades in a row. It's not often I get 4 trades in a row. Trading max system. So that worked really nice. So I like what it did. It bounced here. We hit once, twice, 3 times, pushed up really strongly. That's a good indicator. Because sometimes when you pick these bottoms, it'll trigger and come back. But the fact that it pushed up. But I'm surprised it did that and then turned. I thought after that. Once we got below here, I thought for sure it was going to come down and maybe take out some of these stops, but it just goes to show sometimes you just got to trust the process. So, happy days. Did I get out of that 18 ticks? 12, 13, 15, 16, 4.25 points. Excellent. Plus 4.25 points. I suppose another benefit as well, you have a lot of time to think. I could have got out there, you know, I could have decided maybe to come out further down here. You can do what you want, really. It's up to you. If you think something's going against you, or if you think, hold on a minute, I've missed a channel that's fitting perfect. You know what I mean? And you think it's struggling and then maybe another retest, you could get out. So that's the thing I kind of like about it, is you have a little bit more time to think. Now, if I was going to pick a bottom, usually that would be the one, but I don't pick them because, one, I'm shit at them. Because half the time I do, they trigger above, come back and stop me out. But whereas it comes back and then it pushed strongly right through that EMA. Well, I could have got in above there really, but obviously I didn't notice it. But it did what it was supposed to do, so happy days. So it's been a while since I've got 4.25 points in a day, in all honesty, trading on max system. It does seem like there's more setups available here, whereas we got 2 legs down here. See, if we see a trend here in Pats, we see 2 legs. We may not take that. If that ticks further above there, we call that an inside bar and we couldn't take it. But what Penguin would do is wait for it to push higher. So if that finished nice and bullish, he would take that. We'd miss that because it's not a great setup. So there are, I think, more options, which is kind of what I like. Now, in all honesty, I am still quite new to it, so I'm not going to say it's this, it's that, because I might end up being bloody useless at it. It might be a bit of beginner's luck, and I've just happened to have 4 lucky trades in a row. But the good thing about Friday, that gave me a little bit of confidence when the Penguin guy took the 2 I took. So But I will say, and I spoke to a trader buddy of mine, Martin, about this. He said Mac taught him to trade. So I understand what's going on. So, you know, if you just adapt to a new, he said it took him about 3 months to adapt to a new one. You know, I still understand what all this is and how it works and what a bar means and all this. So you're sort of part of the way there anyway. But it's just, you know, slightly adapting it, that's all. But there you go. Chris Lance, what was the email you were talking about? Okay, I'll get it for you now. This was interesting, actually. I've never had an email like this before. Was it an email? No. Or was it a message? Let me have a look. I saved it anyway. Got it here somewhere. So okay. Here we go. Guy called, let's call him Dave. Dave from Down Under. Okay. This was his message. Okay. Fact. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll drag in. You can read it. I'll read it as you drag it in. No, I just want to make sure his name's off it. Let's have a look. Yeah, okay. I'm going to drag it in. Okay, I'll put it to the left. That's what he sent me. Hi, Lance. Brave decision to take a break that you shared with us. And the decision to follow a different trading style from Mac style to Penguin style. Why not follow yourself? Example. You call what the market is doing, great. Then you identify setups as they appear, great. Then you hesitate while processing it, is that what Mac would do? Following others affects your own thinking. You know what to do. Why not take your own trades? The need to see what Mac and Penguin did, often you call winners and while they were missed. Imagine when the market is open, like stepping onto the pitch. Now you're in the game, blah, 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 blah. So have a read of it anyway. Don't stop your stream. It's lonely out there. It's great turning a normal bloke is moderating the site, discussing relevant stuff, grabbing a few blah, 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 blah. But basically saying, why not do what sort of feels right, do your own sort of thing. So it was interesting, actually. I'd never had a message like that before, saying, you know, you understand what you're doing. And a lot of times I say, oh, it's a so-and-so there, but there's something I don't like about it and I miss it and it works. So basically saying, you know, just why not try just following yourself, doing what you think. So my reasoning there was why I mentioned if I see a setup from Mac, I'll still take it because, you know, if I've learned how to take a second entry and a nice second entry, you might as well. But sometimes certain things can get in your way. Now, you can't do that as a complete beginner. I'm not a complete beginner. I've been trading now for a few months off 3 years. And I've been very committed. I put a lot of hours in. I've, you know, done it more or less full time. I've changed my job around. So I understand a bit what's going on. So I'm not a complete novice, although I am what I would consider scratching the intermediate level area, if you like. So if I follow Penguin, that type of trade, if I see like this perfect second entry long, I'd be daft not to take it. So that's why I'm going to sort of follow to a degree what he said, do what I think's right, because sometimes I see you guys there and I'm thinking, oh, I can't take that. Someone will crucify me. And in a lot of cases, it works. So I think after a while, you've been looking and studying the market again and again and again. You do notice things and patterns. And how many times do I say, we've got a leg up, we've got a little bit of sideways at a slight angle, now we'll get another leg up. And I would say 9 times out of 10, it does exactly what I'm thinking. So there may not be a setup there, but if there's a nice bullish bar, maybe because I've seen that happen again and again over the last 2 to 3 years, should I take it? I think it's natural to do that as a trader. to see things and see patterns. I was hoping we'd get a lower high there. There sort of was, but it was a bit too far. If we'd have got that a bit lower, I'd have taken that for sure, because, like it. Yeah, but it's just saying, well, hold on a minute. Instead of, saying I can't do this because Mac doesn't allow it, or I can't do this because Penguins doesn't allow it, maybe just follow your own way of thinking. I think that's probably natural for most traders at some point. So it was an interesting message, actually. I've never had anybody say that to me. Why not you just think about what you're doing and just think what you think's right? Because, we do learn as we sort of move on. So I kind of like it, which is why I decided to. I won't completely shut Max out. I mean, if we have a leg, an absolutely perfect second entry, right from the key entry point, the type, the ones where you can't get your order out quick enough, I'd be daft to turn that down for a couple of points. But yeah, it was just an interesting message. I thought, I'll bring that in. I'll mention that. See, at the moment, we seem to be going sideways. There's no argument there. So where's the top? I think you could probably say it's as good as... let me have a look. There's the low of the day. I'm going to leave that there, and I'm going to bring this up to, let's say... Right, about there, I think. In fact, I'll tell you what, let's just get rid of that, sorry. Let's bring this down to there. Excellent. Another thing I like about this as well, I don't necessarily have to bring this to here. I can already see where the high of the day is, so that's another reason I like this. But this seems to me quite nice, actually. It's fitting nice at the bottom. In fact, it's fitting very nice at the bottom, and it's fitting nice at the top. So for me, I'm quite happy with that. Yeah, sometimes when you can get mixed feelings between what you shouldn't do. I remember Matt messaged me this about a year ago, maybe a bit less. When it's natural, when you learn to trade, to follow your own type of style, your own certain style. It's natural to ask questions and to notice things and to make changes. And in all honesty, my honest opinion is why Mac always turns down showing us his trades, because I believe... Obviously, Mac's been doing it over 25 years. Mac does it Mac's way. But when he teaches it, you have to have a certain format. You can't say, I do this because I've noticed this. It's like when you learn to drive. Generally, we learn to drive in a certain format. I know in the UK, it's been a while since I learned to drive, but you don't cross your arms. You might, when I learned to drive, you don't block gear change. It's a certain format which you follow. And when you teach someone that, you have to have a set format. Even at school or college or university, you have a set format. But when you get a bit more experience, you naturally find your own rhythm and what suits you. And Max said that to me, and it made perfect sense. And that's the reason why I believe he doesn't show us his trades, because he's changed things to suit him and his experience. Because if he showed us trades he doesn't teach us to take, it would take a lot of explaining. So that's why I think Mac doesn't show us his particular trades. But obviously when we learn, you've got to learn with a certain format. Congrats on the 18-tick win, even though I didn't really see a trade there, but thank God the spike of that. Yeah, I mean, I'm still learning his system, but for me, regardless of whatever system we're trading, I see a bit of a channel, a break in the form of a perfect measured move, another 2 attempts to go lower and bounce off this, and then a strong push up above the EMA. So that's what I saw there. And obviously it eventually worked. But I have seen Mac take trades here and say they're high probability trades when a bar further up comes back to exactly the same level. And sometimes we judge a trade by how quick it works, or if that would have where did I take the trade? If I'd have taken that trade and it had rocketed straight up, then you may have said, oh, that was a good trade. But the fact that it came back once and pushed higher was okay, but that it came back again. So do you start to say, I'm not sure about the trade because it came back? But it's just one of those things. I can't for the life of me work out why that pushed up so strongly. I just don't. Perhaps because there was traders in here. Perhaps because a lot of people bought this. And obviously as it's coming down, maybe, a lot of traders, they'll buy and then they'll maybe buy a bit further up. So I don't know. If I was an institutional trader, I'd probably understand a little bit more about how they trade. Not everybody trades the same as us. Some, obviously they buy, it goes a bit higher, they'll buy a bit more, and or it comes down, they'll sell a bit. But maybe after that push down, then obviously we've got a load of buyers in there. I don't know. But I don't know. I'm trying to look at the comments on the forum as well. Some nice guys in the forum, friendly bunch. But it is nice. I do like. That's why I continue to stream, because I do enjoy chatting with other traders. It's nice to get to know. Nice to get to know people. And you do get chats with people all over the world. Actually, it's quite it's impressive, really. Technology. I mean, I do chat with people all over the world. I chat with you. A lot of you guys are from US. There's a guy I chat quite regular, Paul, who's in New Zealand. Who's right down there in South Africa. I chat with a guy in Italy occasionally. A guy in, where does he live? Switzerland or something. A couple of places around Eastern Europe. A guy in Israel. It's quite impressive, really, that technology enables you to just have a quick chit chat with people all around the world. It's amazing. You took the trade. You did. I pussied out. I very nearly did, mate. I was hovering. Well, what I thought is, if it comes below there, surely it's going to come down. Now, if I'd have got out there and saved myself 2 ticks and it just shot up, so sometimes once it's come far, you might as well. All I'm really doing there, forget what I'm gambling there. All I'm really doing now is gambling 3 ticks. So I thought I might as well just, I mean, like I say, sometimes they'll, and I've seen Mac take really nice trade, and it'll come back right to the same level and push up. Mac still marks them as a high probability trade, so go figure. Go figure. But yeah, the trouble is there's so many different opinions in reading a market. It's never there's such a lot of grey area in trading. It's not all black and white. Some people might, I don't know, say a certain trade is, that's a 10 out of 10. That other people might go, that's a 9. Some people are really good at picking tops, and they may say, that trade there or that trade there is a 9 out of 10. For me, I'm useless at picking tops. So we've all got different ways of judging trades, and I've seen people like Marco and Daniel mark trades that I wouldn't have taken. So there's so many different ways to skin a cat. But I do like the fact that you've got a little bit of time. I think what you've got to do, more than anything, Mac's system's very quick, but this, you have to trust the process. Mac's process is 1 tick. In my opinion, as much as I think Mac's a great guy, I think 1 point is more advantageous when you're like Mac and can afford to take. I mean, I think Mac trades, he scalps 15 contracts and runners 5. Well, I think the money that Mac makes from his scalp is his pocket money. I think his real money comes from his runners, because obviously Mac's very skilled in reading the market, and obviously he can identify what's going on and jump in a trade and happily let it go. That's where he makes his money. But if you can only trade 2 contracts, I think really 6 ticks is minimum. 6 ticks to 6 to 8 ticks, I think, personally. But I do like going for a bit more, me personally, which is another reason why this suits me. Let me have a look. I took the trade. Oh, right, okay. I'm really new. New to trading or new to Penguin? Because if you're new to Penguin, me and you both. Some trading, try without feeling as much as I possibly. Yeah. I think a lot of that comes into new to trading. Yeah, okay. Well, we all start somewhere. It is daunting when you first start, and it does seem like, you know. Well, actually, after I'd been trading for a month, I gave up my job. I traded with currency with a guy called Andrew Lockwood for 6 months, and to be fair, I didn't get anywhere. And I saw Michael Chin and the other guy trading, and I thought, that suits me. I don't have to look at 20 different currency pairs and charts. I like the fact that I've got one chart, one time frame, and that's it. I'll look at one screen. So I decided I was going to move over to this, so I downloaded the software, and I went on a demo, and after 4 weeks, I just seemed to win trades. I was doing okay. I think we went for a period of time where we were getting really strong uptrends, and I was just buying here, whether it was the right place or not, and I was winning trades. And I thought, I can't go wrong here. So I went to work on a Friday, and I stopped for a coffee at a garage, and I remember phoning my boss. I decided there and then, I told him to stick his job politely. I was going to become a trader. Came home, stuck £3,000 into my account, and lost it all in 2 weeks. But you can't fathom how hard trading is. Not only have you got to learn, you know, all the system and understand how the market works. The hardest part with the technical side of it is applying it to the correct context of the market. I mean, I was taking second entry shorts in an uptrend, but it's applying it to the correct context of the market. It's knowing and understanding what the market's doing. You know, you can't just take a second entry long anywhere. It's got to be in the right area. So that's the difficult part for me. And obviously, it's the most talked about, the psychological side. But my honest opinion about the psychological side is it takes time. You have to experience those emotions again and again, many times, until you start to get used to them, and they don't have that same powerful effect on you. I'm not quite there yet, but I got close. I went for about 3 months without revenge trading and building 4 accounts, and I lost it. But I do believe it comes in time if you just keep sticking on it. I'm from Singapore. Singapore. See, I believe I went to Singapore once. My stepfather was I was Hong Kong, I think, Hong Kong. My stepfather was in the army, and we spent, 6 months in Hong Kong. I can't remember. Long time ago. Could have a quick drop here. I'm just thinking, is there going to be longs in here? It may have a quick push down. So we've had this channel up. We've made multiple attempts to push up, and we've struggled and ended on quite a nice bearish bar below the EMA. Trouble is, I don't want to do anything here because 1 minute it looks like it's pushing up, next minute it looks like it's coming down. And in all honesty, it could do anything. 8 years in Hong Kong. I was only little. I don't know how old I was. Maybe 4 or 5, something like that. But in a military family, you tend to move all over the place. Been to Northern Ireland a few times, Germany a few times, Cyprus, spent 2 years in Cyprus, Hong Kong, and various delightful shitholes, should I say, around the UK. But no, I can't enjoy the army life, actually. It's like I travel everywhere with a big family. Yeah, I've heard that, actually, mate. I've heard that. I quite fancy Thailand, I do. Wife won't let me go, though. I do have a couple of friends who go to Thailand every year, about twice. I love it, as you can imagine. Okay, so leg up, sideways at a slight angle. I think we're going to get another leg up here to these highs. So let's just draw that. That's what I think is going to happen. Actually, right on the high of the day, that'll be. So leg up, sideways at a very slight angle. Let's see if that works. Yeah. Sort of like a... But obviously we are struggling to get above here, so we need to... We're still not really broken above it yet, or closed above it yet. This may... yeah, see that's, I think, the accurate bit. It's above it with a tick, but it's still below where I've put this, so... There's a big measured move up. Yeah, measured moves blooming everywhere, isn't there? Probably something like that. Where's that going to take us to? So if we can get to here, I think it's likely we'll get to here. Trouble is, as soon as you think it's breaking out, look at that. So who knows? It's got to get through that lot first, and in all fairness, at some point it's going to drop, isn't it? This might be the one. It's moving, flickering. Whenever it flickers, sometimes it just drops pretty quick. There may be some stops around there, see? Yeah, sometimes when it flickers up and down, it's sort of preparing itself for a quick push. Now is it going to push up? Yeah, it's a guy taking a short there. Is it there? Yeah. Well, that's working out well, that is. So we're going to push up. We had a break. We made... So normally, Penguin say we had a break. We made another couple of attempts. We made actual multiple attempts to move higher there. Good trade, that, mate. Nice. So, are we coming down here? Yeah, I didn't know what the hell to do with that. Push up, sideways, drop. I mean, the more times it tries to go higher, then the more chance it gets closer to just dropping. But sometimes it'll drop out and then rocket up. Yeah, I've got a daughter, say 14, 15-year-old. Hates me at the moment. Nicely, actually, in a nice way. Trouble is, when they get to that age, they really start to pick up them swear words, don't they? Everything's a big deal. Makeup goes wrong in the morning for school. Massive big deal. Okay, nothing I can do at the moment. In all fairness, see, the beauty about this is if you can take 4 points or 4 1/4 points, that's brilliant for a day, really. Christ, if you can average 4 1/4 points a day. Now, see, when I was trading max, my target to try and aim to get above was 5 points a week. Now, my target when I first started trading was probably 500 points a week, but you got to get real, haven't you, after a while? But in all fairness, I think the last couple of months, it might be improving a bit, but maybe July and August, I thought for trading Pats was really difficult. Just, you know, when I first started trading this nearly 2.5 years ago, setups seemed more obvious. Second entries were obvious. You know, we'd get a nice channel down. We'd have 2 beautiful legs up there. And then, so we got a channel down there. We had a break. 1, 2 legs up. Bearish bar like that. What happens? Triggers, pushes up, stops out. There was less traps, less things that went wrong. So I don't know whether this is the norm and that's just, you know, what happened when we had COVID. Things just changed. Or perhaps it was like that before. I don't really know. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Wilson barking, my daughter's just turned up. Okay, so a few on the stream took that, actually. A few on the forum took that. So I'll keep that in mind. Just not sure about this, see, because we've had that leg up. When it goes sideways, often we'll have another leg. But obviously you've got to appreciate that there is quite a lot of resistance there. So perhaps it's a good place to go short from. Yeah, see, I'm looking at one of the guys actually, and he's put his short here, there at that bar. So he's waiting for it to push the EMA. Trouble is with that. The trouble is you don't know whether it's going to trigger, but he's got his take profit down here. But if it's come off here multiple times, surely if it does break and maybe retest this, the natural place for it to hit, if it's going to play the game, is down at these lows. So he's coming out a couple of ticks above there, which is there, around about there. So, you know, obviously the bottom's down here, so you're comfortably getting out. But if your stop is up here, it's about as safe as it can get, really, isn't it? It's the highest it's been. So unless it does push up higher, that's the beauty about taking these trades with a good distance. You've got plenty of space to come back for it to, you know, breathe a little bit. The trouble is, we only sort of put if we're taking a trade here, our stop goes one tick below there. It's not a lot of room for the market, because sometimes the market does flutter a bit, doesn't it? Whereas if he's got that trade there, let's do it there. If he's took that trade right there. Okay, so there's a lot of distance for it to come back a bit, retest maybe something, and then eventually exactly what happened with me. It pushed up, it came all the way back, but I still had plenty of room. It even come back a second time. So the fact that this is pushing up doesn't necessarily mean it's going to hit that high. You think it'd be more likely leg and then another leg, but you know, it's like any strategy. You've just got to learn it the best you can and learn from your mistakes. But I think the beauty about going from max to this is you've got at least that experience about reading markets, you know, reading charts. Let's pick a measured move up, starting with the first. Yeah. Yeah, see, when it pushes back in here, you don't know what it's going to do you? Okay, folks, I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break. My daughter's just come home. I'm just going to make a quick cup of tea and have a quick pee, and then I will be back. Back in 5. Okay, I'll be 5 minutes. Okay, back. Let's have a look. What's going on? Okay, definitely ranging. No argument there. I'm quite happy where that is. The top is. Okay, so someone took that trade. So far, so good. Yeah, seeing that push up there, the only thing I can think of is, I mean, we've had 3 strong bounces there, and we've had 3 bounces. The only thing I can think about is if there's some sort of I don't know, big spenders buying here. The thing is, the people that move the markets, obviously the big institutions, and that's pushed up nice and strong. So the pullback is okay, and then we seem to be working up. But then we've had those 3 quick bars, and once we got so long, it just rocketed up, which tells me there was quite likely quite a lot of traders, or maybe some institutional traders in there. And as that came down, maybe more bought. I don't know really. It's just maybe sort of an educated guess. But it did come down and it stopped here, and all of a sudden it pushed up really strongly, which tells me obviously that a lot of buyers. So maybe as a push up and a couple of attempts again, I don't know. Who knows? Go figure. Sean Wong could be a channel instead from the low before you took the trade. On about something like that. Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, it's a bit early to do that, but if it just continues like that, then obviously we will. Yeah, I'm a bit on the fence about that because it's a little bit messy, isn't it? I mean, mind you, I've seen Mac trade these with a bar hanging out the bottom, so in fact, it'd be interesting to see what time is it. It'd be interesting to see if Mac's. But yeah, it's possible, and if that's the case, that might be why it pushed up. But that would explain things. But at the moment, I'm not a massive fan of it. But if it does push up, see, that's the trouble. Sometimes, a lot of the times, I spend so much time looking for channels, and if I do something like that straight away, in my mind, I'm thinking uptrend. And I'm looking for longs. Whereas if you take it away, it looks completely different. You see what I mean? Not there from the... Not there. But from the low just before you took the trade. Here, you mean? Well, I just rabbited on for no reason. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. That's better, yeah. Well spotted. I should be putting this really, shouldn't I? But to be fair, I'm just, obviously with this bouncing here, I'm focused on the low, but yeah, pushed up the way it come back. But that would make perfect sense, wouldn't it, really? And funny enough, look what it's done there. So, yeah, well spotted, Sean. But yeah, look at that. It doesn't fit any better, does it? So we've touched here, and that can come down a tiny fraction. And that will then bring that little touch into it there. Surprising how these little touches confirm stuff, but touch there, touch there, touch there. Okay, so at some point then, it's likely that it may push out. Obviously, you've got to be a bit careful going along here, just in case, because it might not. Sometimes when you have that, it just, but in all fairness, I'll look at these channels, and if I don't like them, I'll get rid of them, but I actually don't think it's that bad. Touched here, touched here, touched here. It sort of visually fits, doesn't it, if you look? obviously this bit is throwing you, isn't it? Because normally in a trend, as we come off this side, you'd expect to get over here. We sort of did there, but obviously we need this other push now, don't we? There is actually a failure there. New low, try to go low once, try twice, and actually a second entry long there. But the trouble is, I'm going long there, right into that. Now, as much as I think you're right, and this is a channel, I just couldn't go long there anyway. It's alright, I'm thinking I'm trading the wrong way here. Yeah, there's a point up to there, so we've had this push up, a little bit of sideways, made 2 attempts to go lower. Maybe that's not a bad trade. Trouble is, like I say, even with the penguin style, so we're going up. 1, 2 attempts to go lower, push up through the EMA, nice and strong. Trouble is, you've got all this resistance here, and it may well work. It probably will, but the trouble is, sometimes when you'll get longs in here and longs in here, all of a sudden the market will just turn tail, push down, and stop you all out. So, from a penguin point of view, we got a leg up there, made 2 attempts to go lower, but it is into this resistance, so I'm going to have to just leave that one. I've got to say though, when it ranges most of the time, it's not usually as accurate as this. Sometimes we get tops here, then over here, then over here, and then all over the place, but at least it seems to be playing. Let's just change that colour. Touch. Yeah, it sort of visually fits, doesn't it? I'm just looking at the angles. Obviously, we need to get above here, don't we? And once we get above here to here and then back to here, obviously then it will confirm. But at the moment, we're going sideways with the likelihood of a bigger channel there. But I thought we had one there, and obviously it just hit an area, didn't it? And then down it came, so... So I'm pleased with that one. I so nearly came out. How stupid would that have been to come out? Where was my... Yeah. Can't have been taken out there for a 1.5, 1.25. How stupid would that have been? So I'd have lost a 1.5, 1.25 coming out there. But because I left it, I gained a 4.25 point. So sometimes you've just got to trust in the trades. And I think the best thing to do when you are learning, a new system, is just to do what you believe to be a good trade and then let it work. Unless it's going sideways. And in all fairness, it's not really. We had the pullback, then that push up, then a pullback. So it's not really congested like this. If in this middle here it started going sideways, well, that may be a reason to ditch the trade. But I think sometimes you have got to just let them go and let them play out. And if, so many times I've got out of trades, and the difference between me winning and losing that would be to have lost $125 as opposed to making $425. There's quite a distance between there. So I think sometimes probably the best bet, especially when you are learning a newish strategy, is to just let it run. Okay, so this is the first time it's closed above here. In about 3.5 hours. So let's just see what. Oh. Okay, so push out, maybe retesting this. It'd be nice to get a bit higher actually, and then come down, and then I'll start thinking that I like this. Trouble is, at the moment, see, we still have got this area. It could just now come back up to this area, so Yeah. See, Mac. He's got the bottoms here, but he's got the top up here. But in all fairness, you've got to have something there, haven't you? It's clearly bouncing off there, isn't it? So that's how he's got it. It's more or less the same. But the only difference is he's right up at these highs. I think it's okay to do it where I've done it, but obviously just to be aware that, which is what I've done. I've got this up here, just show me where these highs are. But in all fairness, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It's touched 14 times there, so you can't argue with that, really. So, but yeah, as Max got his top here, it could, well, not necessarily be a channel, but it could just push up to here and then maybe turn tail, but it does kind of, I do kind of like the way that's working so far. That measured move is worked out. Yeah. So we've pushed out there, may just be retesting this. Hopefully I'd like to get towards these tops, because if we can get up here and turn somewhere around here, even more indication that, you know, that's right. Okay, so that measured leg has played out nice. Market's moving a bit quick again. Sort of a hidden second entry along there. So it's quite a big bar close to these highs. So we've struggled to get out here. We've dropped out at the bottom and pushed up pretty strongly. Yes, it might not be a bad trade to take that. Yeah, just looking at one of Penguin's charts, he took 2, 3. He took that one there when it pushed above. Oh no, tell a lie. He took that one. Shorted there. Oh, yeah, he shorted that one and lost that one. So he had this leg down, 2 attempts to go higher, so he shorted that one there. And it turned there. I think he had his stop just below here. He's took another one here as well. And he's out. That one, I think. So we got... yeah, but funny enough, before I saw that, I thought that doesn't look like actually a bad trade. It is a failure. It is a second entry long. I think the reason I didn't take it is close to these highs, but he took it and got into it around about here in limit order and got out of it up here. So good on him. I like the Penguin because he shows his losses. I like that. And his numbers make sense. Second entry long. Pushed up. Yeah, he took something up. Excuse me, up here as well, didn't he? I think he took that one there. Yeah, it makes sense actually. Push up, made 1, 2 attempts to go higher. Push strongly through the MA. Yeah, it's alright that. See what I'll do. I'll go back and study his charts later, find out what I did wrong, whether I did anything different from him, and just work out what he took and just earmark him, what he was thinking. Yeah, there is a second entry long there. I'm not a fan of this because it's still going quite sideways. Will it work? Possibly. Trouble is we've had leg break leg. First attempt higher, second attempt high. It may come down and trap down longs and hit there somewhere. So just not a fan. I'm not a fan of this. It is a second entry long, but I'm not interested in that. Edward, how you doing, my friend? Anybody been stung with this Apex thing? Anybody had their money from Apex yet? Been a bit of a pain, to be honest with you, but I think they've been absolutely inundated. They've certainly had their work cut out, so hats off to them. It's a bit frustrating if you're waiting for money, but at the end of the day, stuff happens, doesn't it? But they do keep you up, actually. I've had a bunch of messages saying make sure you update your paperwork and all that sort of stuff, so hopefully it'll get sorted out. But I think this thing with Deal came out pretty quickly, didn't it, and just sort of took everyone by surprise, but these things happen. Yeah, it's going to get stopped out, I think, there. Second entry long in the channel, maybe a trend. It's just, I'm not a fan of it. We had something like this the other day, and quite a few took it and got stopped out. I just don't like it. It's not going to come down that far and not stop out that. So I'd like it to bounce off this area here if I'm thinking that that's trouble is, if you take that away, it's just a failed breakout. So that might be a place to go short. That's the trouble sometimes. If you put these channels in, and you get that focused on looking for longs, whereas if you take it away, look how much different it looks. You think, now actually I'm looking for shorts. So you've had a breakout of here, made one attempt to go higher, a third attempt to go higher, failure. That bar there was a second entry long, which trapped some traders, came down. I can't see many traders took that because the way that dropped below there. But normally, looking at this, it's just a failed breakout. So surely that will be the place to go short. With the failure. Second entry long triggered, stopped out with the failure. Let's see what this is going to go for. Let's put that at 2 points, see if anybody took that. But normally, I mean, every time we're touching here, we're reversing, with the exception, obviously, of here. But it is a failure, and it's also a second entry long. People might be thinking we're pushing up. Yes, I'll be surprised if that doesn't hit 2 points. Ooh. Excuse me. I'll be surprised if someone like Marco doesn't take that. I'm just going to put an arrow there just to have a look at that later. Marco goes for 6 ticks, so he'd be out there. But in all fairness, we're clearly going sideways, with the exception of a few little bounces around the middle. We went out once, made 2 more attempts to go higher, fell. Nice big bearish bar. A little bit congested there, a little bit of uncertainty if we got a channel here or what, but you got 6 ticks out of that. It's not finished yet, may come down some more. Oh, excuse me. I forget, guys, we've still got that 80% off finishes, I believe, on the 12th. No, can't finish on the 12th. We're past that already. Next week sometime, I think. Okay, finishes 9 days, 12 hours. 9 days, so where are we now? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, midnight on Wednesday, that 80% off. I'm kind of glad they extended that, because I think a few people were peed off about their money, but, you know, stuff happens, doesn't it? But it was kind of a nice thing that because they seem to have gone a little bit strict with the a little bit strict with the 80% off. Before they restarted again, it went about 3 weeks without it, which I was quite surprised. So next Wednesday. So my code's down there as usual. If you do use it or you have used it, I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so what's going on here? A bit on the fence here. Okay, so 1 tick below that bar is where 2 points would have been. Better than what you went for, but it is a failure. But the trouble is, it's not clear, is it? Obviously, we've spent a bit of time down here, and we've had a couple of pushes up, and we've gone sideways, and we dropped out the bottom of this little range here and pushed back up quite strongly. So whether you'd want to go short there or not, I mean, ordinarily, if we push up, we make a couple of attempts to go higher at the top of a range. Normally, a short would be the option, but I'm just not sure about this. I think we may get a bit of a breakout. Excuse me. Yeah, so if you did take that one, yeah, 7 ticks was your lot. I wouldn't have taken it personally, but it's just something I didn't like about it. But I thought there may be some that would take it, being a failure and right at the top of this, and they would break it out a couple of times. So you'd have got a 1.5 out of that. Okay, it's actually looking quite nice, isn't it? Touch, 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 close enough. Leg up. First attempt to go lower. Yeah, if we can get above here, up here somewhere to that measured leg, then I'm starting to feel more and more comfortable with that channel. Sometimes if you squeeze them together a bit, they look a bit clearer, and it actually visually looks quite nice. I noticed the Gorilla guys stopped trading for a while. Not quite sure why. I was chatting with a guy the other day who just joined up, paid the membership, and got an email back saying that he was stopping trading, taking a break from trading for a while. I don't quite know why. Well, the question's got to be answered, Benji, isn't it? Yeah, question's got to be answered. I mean, it comes over very confident in what he does, but at the end of the day, how somebody comes over, is one thing, isn't it? But it's hard to say. I went and hard for a while whether to look at his system myself. Well, I did look at it. I certainly talked a lot about it. But you never quite really know how well somebody does. Do you, really? Okay, so what's going on here now? Well, at least we are making higher highs, so that's a good sign. We're making higher lows. I like how that fits there. Visually, it doesn't look too bad. I'd like to get up to this area, to that measured leg, which would take us towards the top of this channel, which is perhaps we might do actually. It just maybe push through here, and perhaps it's just going to retest this leg up. Nice to get up to this area here. Chris, easy to have 10 losses in a row. That's heartbreaking, isn't it? That's the trouble when you go for a lot more points. You're going to have more losers, and obviously, I don't know about him, but I'm not a fan of losers. I mean, if you've been trading 10 years and you can work the system that you accept, you've got plenty enough money in the bank to take the losers. And obviously, if you've been doing the system for 10 years, you'll know whether it works or not. Well, you wouldn't be doing it, would you? But yeah, I'd rather keep my losses to a minimum. I don't know whether you ever get used to losses. I suppose if you're making, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 500,000 a year for the last 3 years, I don't suppose it really matters. Losses are losses. Then it's all just part of the business, isn't it? But obviously, when you're still quite new, losses are losses, aren't they? They're not comfortable, are they? Put it that way. I don't think I've had a loss I feel quite comfortable with on a PA account, but I don't know, perhaps in time. I have heard Thomas Wade say in time they're not, they don't concern you as much. I mean, ultimately, all you need to be able to do is not revenge trade when you take a loss. It doesn't matter how you get round it, whether you, I don't know, slap yourself in the face or walk away for half an hour or whatever. But ultimately, the ultimate plan is after a loss to be able to sit back patiently and carry on trading as if you would trade before that loss. So if you can get to that level, I think you're 3/4 of the way there. Benji, exactly. No one will do a video recording of their account login if they can. Yeah. That's the thing, really. When you're paying for something, and I think he charges you about $100 a month. I did message him, actually. He came on the stream, actually, maybe 6 months ago. I messaged him and asked him for a free week, and he didn't give me one. So I'm thinking, usually, if you're good at it and, you say to someone, yeah, here's a free week, and they come on and see you make a ton of money, what they're going to do? They're going to sign up, aren't they? You just don't know what people are telling you sometimes, do you? So many frauds in the business. Yeah, he didn't strike me as that type, but I don't know, you just don't know, do you? You never know, really. The thing is with the Penguin guy, he charges you $29 a month. You're never going to go wrong there, even if you do it for a month and you jack it. It doesn't cost nothing to try something, does it? But in all fairness, and I've said this many times, I think he's got some serious skills. I watched it. It's just his ability to read the chart, and it makes sense when he reads it. I think he's got some serious skill. Well, a trader buddy of mine says he's borderline genius. He thinks so. So I think he started with Max, and he's just found a different way of doing it. And as I said before, the more time you spend on these charts, you'll notice things. You'll notice patterns. And if you notice the market doing something again and again and again, and you can almost tell where it's going 9 times out of 10, what are you going to do? You'd be a fool not to look at it. S2G unit, I absolutely 100% agree with you. Absolutely 100%. When he was on a sim, he killed it. If you remember back a year or so ago, what was he trading? 30 contracts on a sim? I thought, this guy's a genius. He's brilliant. And he goes on to, he's actually a lovely bloke. I've spoken to him a couple of times via email and chat. He's a really nice guy. Whenever I've had a tough day, I get a really nice message. But I've said to him before, he messaged me a few weeks ago, said he was struggling. And asked me what I think, which I thought was nice. And I said that exact thing. When you were on a sim, you were a completely different trader. He almost comes over as a nervous trader. Sometimes as it's in, he'll bring his stop. And I think that's what happens. That's sometimes what happens when you start to go live and there's real money involved. It's a very different thing, isn't it? And you never quite know how you're going to react. But he killed it. If you could... Because sometimes I think you trade a certain way. Sometimes you change and you wish you could go back to the way, but you sort of don't know how. So yeah, it's hard to tell someone. I think this is one of those unusual jobs where you can guide somebody, but ultimately they have to experience it themselves. They've got to feel what it's like, and you've got to learn yourself, really. You can have guidance, this is a good trade, that a good trade, but ultimately when you're under that pressure, it can do strange things to you, as we all know. V. Wilson is one loss for... Yeah. He's such a nice guy, actually. He really is. And as I say, he sent me multiple messages. And as far as I'm concerned... It's a tough business, this, and I think we should, all support each other. I think sometimes rather than, I've had people message me literally saying to me, you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that, you're doing this wrong. I've had a couple of horrible messages, and it doesn't help you. It just makes you feel down. I think you need to encourage people and give them a bit of a lift. In this business, because it's such a psychologically tough business, I think you some support. And I have had some, there's a guy, Martin... Whenever I have a bad day, I have a message, and some people just know how to put stuff in words, and that guy just lifts my spirits every time I have a message from him. In fact, he's the one I discussed. He changed over to this a few months ago, and I've had a chat with him a couple of times, and I don't know what it is, but he can send me a message, and my spirits just lift. Some people are just good at putting things into words, aren't they? I'm more of a talker than a writer. I can't put things down, but I can talk for England. But it is a tough business, but you have to experience it. You can't tell someone how to do it. You can guide them, but ultimately you just have to experience it. But yeah, I thought Wilson was going to make a fortune. I did. I can't even tell you. I think it might be useful for him to go back and look at some of his old videos. That's one of the useful thing about. I mean, even you guys, if you don't stream, excuse me, download a free copy of OBS and just record your trades, record your trading session. It's useful. Not only that, if something goes wrong with it, at least you can say to Apex, this is exactly what happened. But I think you can learn a lot by just watching yourself back. But he's an ever so nice, not such a nice guy, Wilson. I hope he pulls it out of the bag. I think he will if he just sticks at it. So I'd like to get to this area. By the looks of things, I think we'll likely hit this measured leg, but I'd like to get to the top and then come down. Because then I'm thinking, let's have a look at this. Okay, there's that measured leg. I'm just going to drag this out of the way a bit. My chart looks a bit messy today. I've got... Okay, so there's that measured leg. Beautiful. So leg up, couple of legs down, leg up. Yeah, I didn't like that as a trade. If you took that one there, let's get rid of that there. If you took that second entry, I didn't like it. Well, as soon as it triggered it, I said it looks like it's going to stop you out, but it was a second entry, but that was the better option. But same again, 3 tops in a row. Yeah, sometimes I think you're better off waiting for the higher low. I've given up taking them for that first break because so many times it triggers you and then you have a failed second entry long and it stops that out. I tend to wait for the higher low now, but it's coming to exactly where I wanted it to there, so let's make sure that's tight. So leg and a leg, so hopefully we come down here and then that might confirm that channel there. So that's about right, somewhere around about there. Close enough. Oh, where are you going? Okay, new either day. I like that. Current high. I don't have to worry about drawing lines, or even if it's back here like that. That's one of the things that frustrates me about that. I like the way that it's constantly telling me where the new high is. Well, I wasn't expecting that. Think you broke highs, yeah. That was a nice move, that was, wasn't it? I can't see us getting back up nowhere near that high today. A lot of the times I'll draw yesterday's highs and lows, or Friday's. Although I can't honestly see us getting there today. It's a fair old distance to go. 5, 10, 50, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 55 odd points. So I'll have to look at Wilson's bar by bar later. Pushed up there. Lower high there, isn't it? I like to hear his reasoning behind it. He's a very technical trader. I'll give him that. He gives the impression he's been reading these charts for years. He's very good at it. Comes over very well. In all my years of trading with many mentors, the only trader that shares actual P&L statements to previous trading so far has been myself. You're the only person that can really trust is yourself, really. Yeah. I don't know. I'll listen to most people and trust most people, unless you've got to pay for something. If you've got to pay for something, you want to know what you're getting. Of course you do. I mean, I've been watching the Penguin guy now for, I don't know, maybe 12 months, something like that. And I've slowly been, just the way he reads the charts, he clearly comes over like he knows what he's doing. Which is why he sort of took my interest. Actually, let's change that colour a bit. Gold. Let's have a look. Okay, so channel up there. Yeah, I think so. Overshoot, quite possibly. So lots of times overshoots will result in a reversal. So maybe what we're looking at here really is just a bigger channel, bigger range, and this is just a failed breakout. So it's possible. So let's see if we get a lower high here. So if that is an overshoot, which I think is likely, depends on whether you believe that trade's valid. I think the channel's valid. In a lot of cases it result in reversal. Okay, so that's 1 point towards coming down. I think it's quite likely we're looking at maybe just a big range for the day. So we're at the tops. So that's another point that it's quite likely going to come down. Failed breakout of this. So another reason. So I think it's more likely to come down, but who knows? Oh, that's why you watch me. That's heartwarming. Thank you. I'm surprised I don't lose more subscribers because I do talk too much. And I'm bound to get on some people's nerves. Some people like peace and quiet. I do talk a lot, I've got to say. I'm quite a wired person. That's one of my characteristics. Yeah, I agree, mate. I think Mac's system works, but I think you've got to be very good at it to really make it work. In my opinion, and I've said this to a few people, I just couldn't make it work with 1 point. Trouble is, I think I had one day where I won 4 trades in a row, over maybe a couple of days, 4 trades in a row. So I was trading one contract and that was scalping a point. So I was up like $200. And then I had a large bar on one of my trades. So my fifth trade I lost. It was quite a large bar. So with that and the commissions, I was slightly in the red. So I was trading at 80% and I was in the red. after 5 trades. It's heartbreaking to win 5 trades and have 1 loss, and it wipes it all out. Which is why then I moved up then. I think I moved to 6 ticks. But what I did is I went through, when Daniel used to post his charts every day, I went over his charts, I think, for 2 weeks in a row, and I think he'd marked about 36 trades. Some slightly higher risk ones as well, and I went through every one, and every single one of them made 2 points or more, so that was a no-brainer for me. Going up from 1 to 2 points, you're making 50% extra. You know, you've only got to get it right once in every 3 times or once in every 4 times, but every single one of the 36 trades, or 34 trades, whatever they were, would have made over 2 points. So it was a no-brainer for me. Well, that changed the dynamics then. Scalping 1 point and scalping 2 is a completely different world. Completely different world. Then you've got half a chance then. But I think the thing with Max, for me personally, because I am quite wired, sometimes it's just a little bit too quick decisions for me. I think sometimes my slightly hyperness, if that's a word, can get me into trouble a little bit, I think. Whereas this, I get a bit more time to think, okay, am I going to go short here? No. Let's push up strongly. Okay, that makes more sense. So just that little bit of extra time, I think, is probably better for me. But everybody's different. You know, we all suit certain style of trades. And maybe, you know, it's not like I haven't given it enough time. I've been doing it for about two years, 2 months, but I've done it religiously. I've changed my whole life around and my job and everything. So I've put quite a bit of time in to get at least some decent feedback to say that I think for the most times it might be a little bit too quick for my personality. Having said that, you know, so many times we'll get into trades around here or here, but I think the real bread and butter trades, the perfect second entries, we just don't get a lot anymore. And I don't think we get enough good quality second entries to make a decent amount of money at it, but, you know. But there you go. You know, you learn, develop, don't you? You change. It's all part about being a trader, I think. You know, sometimes things change. I mean, if we get a lovely trend up and a perfect second entry long, I'll be all over it with a trade from Max, but we don't get a great deal of them. Okay, so leg up and a break. Another thing that causes so much anger and frustration. Why 9%? Yeah, absolutely. I think it's okay if you're able to trade maybe 4 contracts, so you can scalp your 3 and make 1 as a runner. Because if you read the markets well, those runners can make you a decent amount of money. You need to be trading 4 or more contracts. But when you're new and you haven't got a lot of money, or you can't, you're trading a $50,000 account, you just can't trade you can't trade enough really to be able to have a runner. So it's just not worth it, in my opinion. But Mac's been doing it years. He's very good at what he does. But I would say, I would bet money that he makes most of his money from his runners, because obviously he's very skilled at reading the markets. But it's unfortunate, really. You need to be trading really 4 contracts and above before you start incorporating a runner. It's just not really going to, you haven't got the funds to do it, unfortunately. Okay, so there we go. So I do wonder whether... I don't think it is. I wish that was a little bit lower, because I did wonder whether we end up getting something like that, but no, it's... So, channel up, break new high. And an overshoot. Surely it's got to come back. In fact, somebody told me last week, was it Albrook? Somebody here told me last week, I think it was here, told me that Al Brooks recommends as new traders you shouldn't scalp. So I forget who it was. Somebody told me he doesn't recommend scalping for new traders. So maybe because it is quite fast moving, and you need to be you need to be pretty shit hot in reading situations. But yeah, this for me just gives you that little bit extra time. Would I have picked a triple test here? I don't know. When that next bar pushed up strongly above the EMA, that's telling me that it's likely then going to continue up. Whereas one tick above there, currently, we're making lower lows. But the fact that it pushed up, that changed my mind. And you do get a little bit of time between that bar ending and that bar ending. Obviously, it's got to come back, drop down. You have that little bit more time. And I think you guys have seen me look at trade and go, oh yeah, and jump in and buy without thinking. Because max trades sometimes just don't give you enough time to think. Al Brooks said to start the daily chart. There you go. Now, obviously, he's very experienced. I think that, I don't know, he's regarded as the godfather of price action or something, isn't he? But he's almost like a walking computer, that guy, isn't he? He's like your favourite granddad. Because you can imagine what the pocket money would be like. But yeah, I think whatever, if you learn something from Mac, you learn something from the Penguin guy, you learn something from Al Brooks, I think anything you do learn is going to be beneficial in this business, because although strategies might differ slightly, we're all sort of got the same goal in mind. So I think, what I've learned from Mac is invaluable. I'll be forever grateful, and I'll just take it on to the next part of my journey. But, I wouldn't be able to take trades like this if I didn't realise markets generally, I'd have expected that to reverse there. Breakouts are number one. Yes, I need to watch a bit of him as well, to be honest with you. I might put that down on my I usually have a bit of time in the evening when I go to bed on the tablet, and just I might watch something. You can definitely learn some tools that will help you. Whatever you learn, really, it's going to be beneficial, especially from the likes of let's just get rid of that. Especially from the likes of Al Brooks, obviously, in this business. He's quite well known, isn't he? Obviously, he's been doing it donkey's years. He was originally a doctor, wasn't he? But he's been doing it a lot of years. 5 years goes nowhere. Yeah, I mean, even if you pick up little tips, whatever you learn, I think, is beneficial to you in some form, isn't it? But yeah, trading doesn't come overnight. But I think if you're committed, I think you could be, there's no reason why you shouldn't be earning a reasonable monthly wage after doing it a few years. What do you call a reasonable wage? $5,000 a month? It's not a bad wage. Certainly for working 3 hours a day, it's pretty good. I don't think it's difficult to get to that level after about 3 years. I don't think so, anyway. I suppose it depends on your commitment, doesn't it, really? Some people might just put an hour in 3 times a week or something, which it could take years, couldn't it? Small little nugget. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There's always something to learn from people who know a little bit more than you. There's always something to learn. Every time we take a trade on here, we learn a lesson. Every time we take a loss, we learn a lesson. And it's just building that little memory bank up again and again and again until that edge really starts to fall in your favour. And as well as doing that, you're building your emotional stability up to be able to cope with, the day-to-day, the day-to-day things that happen during, sitting in front of the market for the day. Day trading is certainly hard, absolutely, yeah, no matter what the system market you trade, opportunity, yeah. Absolutely agree, yeah. It's way harder than I ever thought it would, but I can see I can see an ending for me. I can see where I'm going wrong enough to get me to where, you know, I feel like I'm getting closer to where I want to be. Will I stop watching Mac's views day to day? No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I always usually watch Mac's. Even if I just look what trades he took. But I always have that little bit of time in the evening where I look at Mac's. I always look at the Penguin guy. Who else do I look at? Probably just those two, I think, at the moment. I think so, yeah. Which doesn't take a lot of time. You know, 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. What's it gets through is pretty quick, doesn't he, the Penguin guy? He flicks through it pretty quick. Thomas Wade's, I'll watch him as well. Like I say, anybody that's, you know, relatively experienced trader making money, as far as I'm concerned, they've got lessons for me to learn. Doesn't do bar by bar analysis or explain losses to newbies. No, I wish he would a bit more. But as I mentioned earlier, I think the rules he teaches us and how he trades himself, I think, are quite different. And I think that would throw a spanner in the works. Mac's been doing it donkey's years. But you have to, if you're teaching something, you have to have a set format. And you have to teach that. You can't say, well, I do this because I've been seeing it. You'll find that way yourself. So I think that's why we get limited amount of for Mac on what he trades, because I think he changes his own rules because he can. Because he's done it for donkey's years, and you know, as I mentioned earlier, you see these patterns and you'll just know. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. But I like Mac. I think what he does for traders, just for that measly amount of $125 a year, you try finding someone to teach you to trade for that long. He's definitely committed, Mac. He doesn't need to do this. I know he's into real estate, and he's obviously made a chunk of money trading. He's got a nice little life. He doesn't need all the headaches of making the videos every day if he doesn't want to. I think he enjoys doing it. We've heard him say before that he did say that if he made money out of this, he was going to put some back and help some other people. I genuinely think that's why he does it. But he's a lovely guy. But anybody that's ever helped me in trading, from you guys making comments to him teaching me stuff, I'll always appreciate, because it's getting me and my family closer to where I want to be. I want to be able to afford to go on holiday 3 times a year. I want to always have money in the bank. I want to spend more time with my family and less time doing 12, 14-hour shifts, working out on the road, lining other people's pockets. So it seems like we're in a bit of a channel. In fact, I think in all fairness, it's probably safer to just do that for now. A break and a new high. So thank you, mate. I appreciate that. So there may be another channel there, but I'm just going to... That fits nice for now. So we've had a break and a new high. So sometimes if you draw bigger channels, it just gets you into taking more trades. And I think sometimes you're better off assuming that it has had a break. How do you guys feel about NQ? What do you find the benefits of trading the NQ to the ES? I know I've played around with it a little bit on a sim, and I know it moves a lot bloody faster. I think it's for real men, isn't it? It's a bit scary for me, but do you guys find one easier to trade or more setups than the other? Yeah, see, if I have a bigger channel drawn there, I'll be looking for longs there, and in all fairness, it's what areas you may get trapped. I think more the pen guy. think more of the Penguin guys, because he trades the ES, doesn't he? Perhaps because I think he started with Mac, didn't he? And then he just sort of found his own way of doing it, which I think was obviously a smart thing to do from his point of view. Because, and I think that's the way for most traders. I think most traders will adapt. It's about adapting to your surroundings, and markets obviously change. I've heard Max say the markets has multiple personalities, and you have to adapt sometimes, don't you? And I think you naturally do the more you've been trading. Thank you is easy to read as there is more volatility. Yeah, maybe I might play around with it a little bit more on a sim. I have done a little bit just for there, but it does move fast. Sometimes it just rockets off. High volatility in the ES, which might be beneficial for scalping. Yeah, I suppose so. I don't. What is Al Brooks? Is he NQ? Is he? Later, or you off? Are you? You take it easy, mate. What are we doing here? Al Brooks. Oh, Al Brooks is ES. 5 minutes. I might watch a bit of him actually. There's always something to learn. I know he's got a few videos out. I might watch a couple on my tablet tonight. Anybody like him, he's a memory bank of stuff, isn't he? He'd be daft not to pay attention. I actually changed to range charts, much cleaner. Range charts. Much cleaner. I can't stand all the wicks all over the chart. Is that something like Renko charts? Is that what you mean? Charts. Trade a buddy of mine. Marlon went to that. In fact, I must message him. I haven't spoken to him for a couple of months. Nice price markers. Oh, these. It's called. I'm not going to mention too much at the moment because I don't want to get you guys spending your money, and if I don't think it's useful, but it's called. I forget now. Have a look. It's called Algo Tick. Yeah, Algo Tick. I think it's about $300, which isn't cheap. It does a bunch of other things as well. I've just deleted it. If you right click like that, it will draw a little box, and you can change the colour of the box, and it will give you all the information in there. So this I like. I like the fact that it's giving me this, or I can click the middle button and it'll give me this as well. There's probably a bunch of other things with it as well, but I'm just playing around with it. But the other thing I got a bit nervous about, where is it? Chart enhancer. Which was it? Quick ruler enable. Let's just flick that on. I'll show you what I mean. There. Oh. There, yeah, it's got that thing. So if you wanted, I don't know, to find out. Yeah, it just gives you the information, various information. I'm just playing it one step at a time. You got to hold your finger on it. Yeah, it basically tells you, you know, how much it is, how many bars are in that section, how long it's taken, 28 minutes, 23 seconds, blah, blah, blah. So it's got that. There's a bunch of stuff on it, but that at the moment, because I do that to move me chart, it was popping up all over the place, so I thought I'd get rid of it for now. Play around with it later. But there is a bunch of different bits of stuff on it, but I've just scratched the surface really, so I'm going to have a play around with it. Something ruler, where is it? Quick ruler. But yeah, there's all sorts. You can change the colour, the opacity, and all sorts of stuff. But I am a fan of this. I do like that. I can tell without having a look back, depending on how much price action there is. I can tell if we're getting close to the highs of the day. Or I can tell we're at the highs of the day. And the open as well. It plots the open and the current low as well. Current low of the day. So I think that's useful, that is. It obviously tells you what you're trading, tells you the price, and it tells you there's your tick chart, the tick countdown, sorry. Okay, so we've had a push up, we've had a break. We've had another attempt to go higher. And I like that as well. That's useful if you want to just maybe get a price. And obviously it tells you if I hover over a bar as well, it gives you information about the bar. It's 1.5 points and a bunch of other things. The price up there of the current, there's the current bottom, 44.98 and a quarter. There's the current top, and there's the current open. So it's a useful tool, I think. Is there a Pat style Discord where they all move from candlesticks to range charts? I don't know, mate, actually. I don't know. Range charts bars are always the same size, so same risk. Ah, interesting. I know there's... I've got something else up here. Where is it? No, that's not it. Yeah, I'll have to play around with it a bit, but straight away I like that. Because I usually write these, draw these lines down, but I like the way it's following up and you can see the high of the day. You set the range bar size for S, probably 10, 11, 13 bar range of size. So 10, 13, 2. Interesting. I know a buddy of mine trades Renko, where they all just seem to sort of be exactly the same and moving up. It looks like it makes trading really easy, but I don't think it works that way, but it does look easy. What time is it? Where are we? I've been trading for just 2 hours and 35 minutes. Okay, so we've got this leg up now. Excuse me a second, I'm just going to have a quick bathroom break. Okay. I might knock it on the head for the day, actually. Where are we now? Coming up 2 hours, 40 minutes. Going a bit sideways here. Not sure what to do here. Not sure whether we're going to pull in or what. I don't know. But okay, so not a bad day. Whether that was a good trade to take from a penguin point of view, I don't know. Channel up there, 2 legs back, made 2 more. See, I think it's a good area to bounce off anyway, personally. We came down, we bounced off it twice more. So it's a triple test, really. And it's clearly... there's some, it's clearly holding there. So personally, I don't think it's a bad trade to take. And the fact that I left it above there, pushed up strongly and then went up. And yeah, we had a couple of pullbacks and it went off, but it worked. So I don't know, it's a good trade. I don't think it's a terrible trade. Channel up, 2 legs of correction, 2 more bounces, and then off it went. But there we go. It is what it is. It works. Sometimes we take these trades. Sometimes they work. Well, they work. You just got to grab hold of them, haven't you? Does Marco just trade Pats? I believe so. But he has a teaching system as well, so I don't know whether... but I think most people change things slightly as they learn and they develop. I think it's pretty normal. I know Marco and Daniel now have gone up from a point to 6 ticks. And rightly so, I think. It's a no-brainer. You're going up 50%. But yeah, he has his. Sorry, he's another one I watch as well, Marco. I watch his bar by bar on a Friday, and occasionally, I think it's Taylor will do, not so much lately actually, he will do some trades he takes, leg up, couple of legs back, whatever. So I watch him as well, so they're guys that have helped me in the past, and they're always nice and friendly and polite, so he's helped me out a lot, Marco has, and Daniel has, and people like Jope as well, and some of the other experienced traders in there have been doing it, a little bit longer than me. So there you go. So your footprint chart is 12 range. My footprint chart is 12 range. That's straight over the top of my head there, mate. Footprint chart. I know what footprint chart is. See, I've looked at things like that before, the footprint chart, and sometimes I don't know whether it would be looking at too much, but it does seem to be how the institutional traders trade, don't they, with a footprint chart. Maybe just a copy of this stuck up in the corner there, and the rest are... Well, there's so many different ways to trade, isn't there? At the end of the day, if it works, it's a good way of trading. If you're making money out of it, it's a good way of trading. So I am wondering whether we are going to now maybe get something... maybe a 2-tier channel going on there. We're working this first tier, we've pushed up. So it's possible there is a 2-tier channel there. First one, second one. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, we do seem to be working up, don't we? So whether we'll continue or not, who knows? So that's it for today, folks, for me. So one trade. Worked nicely. I very nearly got out of it, but I think sometimes, especially with this, because market can move quite a bit sometimes, and I think it was about 1.5 points. If I'd have taken out there, how gutted would I have felt? So I think sometimes you're best off just to trust your trade and get in there and just let it run. I mean, obviously, if it started to go sideways like that, then obviously you've got the option to get out. Sometimes you're better to get out and guarantee not to lose anything than because when it does go like this, you never quite know what it's going to do. But we had a push up, push back, push up, push back, so no real congestion. So I left it in the end, and it worked. So there we go. Footprint shows you volume trade on each price level. I don't know why you neglect volume. I don't actually, mate. I had a book map on here for quite a while, actually. I think it's just something that I haven't looked into. But what's it called that I did look into? They have a free version of it. What's it called? Is it GOM? GOM? GOM or something? They do a version of it. But no, I absolutely agree. I think the institutional traders seem to do well out of it, so straight away that should tell you something. But I had a book map on here, which I believe is similar, and that sort of shows you, where sort of price, the heat map, where the price is and all this. But I think it's part of a trade volumes. I absolutely agree. I think learning and trying new things and opening up, new avenues is a part of a trader's lifestyle, really, isn't it? I think it's just something you do. Just incidentally, Lewis, what do you use for your volume? What particular software do you use for it? I'll take a quick snapshot of your comment. I'm always up for learning new things. I use Atlas platform. Let me have a look. You trade it on with Ninja Trader, you bud? Atlas. Okay. A Ninja Trader as well. Okay, so you can trade it along with Ninja Trader. Do you have, I take it you should have it on a separate screen, do you? Yeah. I got some. Atlas is like. Oh, okay, I got you. Okay. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree that volume. Yeah, absolutely. They're too. Oh, okay, I got you. I know a friend of mine uses. I'm sure it's GOM. Is it? Let me have a look. Is it GOME? Is it? Yeah, GOM order flow. Let me have a look. That's it. There we go. Yeah, that's one I've looked at before. I think you get a free 7-day trial. So whether you keep it on a separate screen above here, but that works with what's it? But I have watched some of the videos that a guy is it Trader Dale? I think he uses it, but yeah, it is something I'm gonna have to focus on for sure. I think I've just been busy with streaming trading, obviously this new system, but yeah, I think it's something that's definitely got to be looked at for sure. You can have a volume indicator at the bottom of your trading screen, just on a normal. I don't know why it pops up on another screen. That. Block volume or not? Buy sell volume. Order flows are good. Also, a good channel. I got you. Order flows is also a good channel. Order flows. Oh, I see. Okay, so Lewis, that's like Bookmap just streaming on. Is that like Bookmaps? How Bookmap streams on YouTube? Order flow volume profile. What's that called? Order flows. Oh, so the indicator. Oh, yeah, I got you. Well, let me take a photo. I'm going to have a look. Scroll through, rather. And have a look. Lifetime license. I have got a lifetime license, yeah. I'm not sure whether I can use my lifetime license if I'm with Apex, can I? Because obviously I've got their code at the moment, but I've got mine. I'll have to look into that. But yeah, I bought one. Bought it a couple of years ago for £1,000. You can. Oh, brilliant. Okay. I'll have to look into that then. You guys use any other data apart from Rhythmic? Because Rhythmic does seem to be riddled with problems. I've heard a couple of people saying they've used something else. Obviously, they've got to pay for a little bit more. I forget what it is now. It's supposed to be more reliable. CQG, yeah, that's one somebody's mentioned. Quick roulette issues you are having is related to the price action toolbar, which can be disabled. Okay. Once a price, let me just take a photo of that. Camera. Let's have a look. I'll have a play around with it. But I do love this. It's so handy having this, I've got to say, and that as well. So many times I have to go in here, there, and then click that, and then obviously you've got to go back. But I do like that. It's handy if you want to work something out. But it is really useful, this. Just keeping in mind where your highs of the day is. But I'll have to look at that. But yeah, there we go. I trade crypto on Bybit. Yeah, I swing crypto on a bit on Bybit as well. I tend to do it on my phone a little bit. Well, I swing. I just spot trade it really. I tend to buy a bit if it drops 10-15%, and then if it pushes up. What did I have? I bought. What did I buy? I bought Solana when it went down to $15 and sold it at $23. I think. I'll just throw a bit of spare money in. I tend to stick to the Solana's, Cardano's. Another one I'm buying bits into as well is H-Bar. I'm hearing good things about that, but 11 trades today, 4 lost. Okay, so right, that's it for today. So I'll be back again same time tomorrow. Trading Monday to Thursday now. I go back to work temporarily from Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm making some out of trading, but not enough. And the trouble is, every time I get my account up to a few thousand, I'm taking a bit out, to 2,000 out, whatever, and it's just leaving me vulnerable every time. So I'm going to have to let them build a little bit more, but there we go. So that's it for today, folks. Ta-ra for now to you, Edward. I'll be back here same time tomorrow, hopefully. So that's 4 trades in a row, penguin style. So beginner's luck, I think, partly. Thanks for sharing. Anytime, mate. Anytime. So there you go. So if you carry on trading today, good luck. And I will see you all same time. Yeah, bye, Lewis. I'll see you all same time tomorrow. Take care. Bye for now.